What's good, fellas?
Sean, who lined you up? What up, BP?
BP's cousin.
And one of his Panamanian cousins?
Yeah. BP the funniest dude in the world.
My bad. I'm just looking for a background.
Yo. Yo, if y'all hear anything in the back, they're still downstairs working on shit.
Oh, for real? How's that coming along?
Can you hear that fan in the background? Me?
Nah.
No? All right.
The floor is almost in, so I'll be happy when that's done.
All close.
Damn, I'm up to start an OnlyFans.
Yo, listen, that's the new hustle.
I got nice feet for a guy.
That's really the nice hustle. That's,
And nobody
people
got
are subscribing. You can't even hate on the situation.
Zim, how much you think your OnlyFans will get a month?
A month? Honestly, to keep it a buck, it depends on the pricing. I'm gonna go low because that's how you get the traction. So I am going $19.99. That's solid. A nice quick dub. You get into Broad Street on a dub and have a good time. So I think I'll generate between 100 to 150. Curiosity kills. So I get 20. I don't know.
Do you think that most of your subscribers will be female or male?
Nah, I think I'm highly favored
This
in
dude's going full nude.
LGBT community, man. I'm highly favored. It's not something I take pride in, but, I'll say it's a good 70-30. I wouldn't be surprised, but money's money. That doesn't change anything about me.
I'm just asking because I know you got a lot of fans out there. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure you're getting your $19.99.
Facts.
This nigga
now, what do you think?
On OnlyFans.
What do you think? What do you think? Exotic, homegrown, out the city? What type of demographics I'm hitting, Jiggy?
I think that so if you're getting 150 subscribers a month, I would say that like you said, 1/3 would be guys, or identify as male. I would say that you'll definitely have a lot of pogs and memas. You know what I'm saying? Definitely, you know what I mean. A lot of pink toes.
I don't discriminate though. I don't want to come across that. As long as you believe in me and you subscribe, that means a lot. $19, that's a lot. I'm appreciative.
Shy hookah girls that was like too scared to you.
Yo, Sean's lineup's really clean. I can't lie. It's crisp.
I tried to put y'all on to Poppy. You wasn't trying to fuck with me.
Hit him with the chalk.
BP cousin. And not for nothing, this is 2 weeks. This is 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. That shit's good.
Nah, no cap. I'm not cutting my hair until they arrest the murderers of Breonna Taylor. I'm not cutting my hair. So when you see me out, like, Zine, why you nappy? Yeah, exactly. Listen, I'm not cutting my hair until they arrest them, man. I don't want us to lose track of what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
That's honorable.
Thank you.
Yeah, so absolutely.
So let's just spin this forward. Let's say it's 6 months from now and there's been no arrest made.
I just gotta, taper it up, clean it, and get the sponge to it. But it looks straight when I'm at work. I got a suit and tie, like, you know what I'm saying? So it looks presentable. I look like I went to a HBCU university. But I ain't gonna tell them the reason though, but facts.
My God. Yo, I can't even imagine Zima like a Howard homecoming. It would be like the what's that movie in Vegas where they find homie on the roof?
House Party X or something like that?
No. He's talking about
Hangover.
Hangover.
Yeah, I can't imagine you at a Howard homecoming.
Nah, listen, I'm always calm, cool, and collective, man. Triple C's, man. Carroll City, you know, where Rick Ross is from. I'm always calm, cool, and collective, so they can't catch me slipping like that. But I obviously enjoy myself, but, you know.
Moving on. So, you know, we took a week off, you know, just to breathe a little bit, but we are back. The Professor, BP, S. Dot, and Zine. So a lot has happened. I feel like so much has happened in the past 2 weeks. I feel like a lot happens in like 3 days. And if you don't, you know what I'm saying? If you're not on it in 3 days, it's like, all right, it's on the next thing. So one thing I definitely want to talk about is a lot of corporations, a lot of people are doing what we would call performative gestures, right? So people are saying, well, we're going to change the Aunt Jemima off the syrup. We're going to change the Redskins name from the football team. You know, we're going to paint Black Lives Matter on the street right next to where the president sleeps at night. Are we tired of some of these performative gestures, and do we want to see some real, tangible action that will uplift the Black community, especially when it comes to legislation?
I mean, yeah, definitely. I'm not gonna say I'm tired of seeing it. Like, I definitely like appreciate it, but I don't think it stops there. I think there needs to be more plans put in action as far as, like you said, like legislation, things that are gonna help, like, you know, the Black and brown community, put us in better positions to succeed. Yeah, so definitely, I think that's the next steps, like figuring out, like, you know, voting. I know Zim is always adamant about getting out there and voting. Just kind of being mindful of, like, you know, and Josh, you said too, making people earn their vote, the Black people vote. So yeah, we just want to put the correct people in office that's gonna give us a fair chance, and I think the time is now.
Yeah, I definitely agree. We got to keep the momentum. Any gesture is a gesture in our favor, I feel like. So we got to keep the momentum as far as that. But I do feel on the other end, large corporations are taking advantage of the moment. And I don't know how it's tangible or what are they doing on their end that's making it tangible. But I feel like I got an email from, I don't even remember. I text you guys one day. I think it was Van's. Yeah. So Van's email was like, we stand with the Black Lives Matter movement. And it's like, okay, so you sent out the email, but what is actually going on? What are you doing to change what's going on, the climate of the country? But back to what Dot said, again, it does come down to legislation and us being out there and getting our voice heard and really getting things changed. Especially when it comes to the police and police brutality. We have to focus on what is the task at hand, and that's really where it started. It's police brutality and police getting away with flat out murder. So we need to put in place, we do have a couple of things right now, the Karen order, I forgot what state that was out of, and other legislation like that, but we got to keep applying the pressure when it comes to legislation.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I like it. I love to see it. I'm appreciative of it. Small token from what we're really asking, but I don't mind it at all, and I'm appreciative of it. I think it goes a long way. Regardless if you're for it or against it, it's gonna make you feel some type of way and bring you attention to a comfortable thought process in your head on where you standing at with it. And I hope it continues. You know what I mean? If it's offending a group of people or a city or, you know, the Confederate flag, these monuments, these slave owners, I'm all with it. I hope it continues. And that's the type of vibes I've been on lately, man. For real. Just like, we just got to start speaking up, stop being timid. Who cares what it looks like and how it looks like? Just keep it pushing, keep it moving. You know what I mean? Like, this T.I. and 50 is cool. The Will and Jada entanglement's hilarious, but we got to keep our eyes on the prize, man. You know what I mean? And I think that's what Bobby's alluding to as well. And then you guys know I'm a firm believer in vote, vote, vote. the year I was eligible to vote and got everything cleared up, that's been a wave because it was a moment in time where I couldn't vote. So that's the type of vibes I'm on lately, man. All 2020 though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a little bit of breaking news. Tory Lanez arrested after cops find gun in his car.
Jesus, wow. And
And
you
they
guys
said
know I love Tory.
Tory's hot right now too.
And they said Meg Thee Stallion was present.
Oh, you think he's taking that down? Keep it a buck.
Probably.
Those tall girls like those little guys they could just manhandle. Imagine Meg Thee Stallion just like RKO DDT this little dude.
Yeah, he gotta like jump on the back of that man.
Right. And not for nothing, that was a good look with Kylie Jenner and Meg Thee Stallion. Like, you can make any narrative you want. You know what I mean? You don't even have to speak on it. That was a good look. Tory's in his bag. He took Corona and made something of it, but
nah, Meg is, you know what I'm saying? I was early on Meg, like that first song. So I love some Meg Thee Stallion. So just to bring it back, I'll say that there was a speech, and I forget the gentleman's name, but he gave a speech at a town hall in Syracuse, New York. He spoke about the tax base in the city of Syracuse and how all the police don't live in Syracuse. So, so I thought that was the best illustration of how you create a permanent underclass that was like a quick 2 or 3 minute video. And the thing I found so interesting was that he was actually talking to the mayor of Syracuse. And I'll just give you guys a little bit of background. So I went to college about 30 minutes from Syracuse, and Syracuse is wild. Like, Syracuse makes Providence look like North Providence. Like, Syracuse is nuts. Like, it's wild, it's crazy. It's like mad hood. It's like a picture like Mississippi, picture like a Little Boosie video in upstate New York. That's like kind of what it looks like. So I understood what he was saying, that you have all these white cops that are getting paid by the taxpayers in the city of Syracuse, and then they're taking that wealth because cops is a very good paying job, especially as you go along, and they're taking it to other places. So that got me to thinking about like Providence and Pawtucket and Cranston, and a lot of those cops that police that area are getting paid a very good salary, are, you know what I'm saying, taking that money and living elsewhere. Same thing goes for the teachers. Same thing goes to people that work in nonprofits. So it's very interesting to me. So I kind of want to get your guys' thoughts on that.
I always said that, especially in education, especially in the urban cities where the demographics, majority of African American or minorities, when you have these, for an example, I'm just using Providence, teachers that come from Burrowville and Charahoe, Ponegantsit, like, and then they try to come into the urban city to educate. I know their intentions are good and they mean well, but sometimes they just don't resonate with the student, because when you teaching a young child, they have to believe in you. It's like we all coach here at some point, you know what I mean? You have to, they want to be able to relate to you, trust your message, and it shouldn't matter like what you look like, but sometimes kids just perform better, and it's backed up by studies, you know, with people they can relate to or people that look like them. And this is why education is like very, very important. So I get that whole premise, as police look like that nowadays. Teachers look like that, you know, nowadays, and then big important people in position to control cities and make these judgments are the same thing. That's why I appreciate a mayor who's from the city who gets hired as a mayor versus somebody that never lived in that city, if that makes sense.
No, I agree. That's some really good point, Zim. And that's something that I kind of always think about. And actually, yesterday I was speaking to a young lady. She goes to Mount Pleasant. And she was just like, yeah, like a lot of the teachers, they don't relate to us. Like half of them look like they don't want to be there. And that's like, you know, sad to see. And that's why another thing I kind of get passionate about is like education. Like I hear a lot of people kind of in our community always say like college is a scam. and it kind of upsets me sometimes because we need education. Whether you think like, college is a waste of money, ultimately that's one of the tools, not the only tool, one of the tools in this country that can potentially help you or change your trajectory. So if we had more people like, going to school and to become teachers, to become doctors, to become police officers, to get certain occupations that have been like, predominantly white ran all of these years. Think about it. If you went to a doctor, you'd feel more comfortable, like, being seen by a doctor that was African American that could kind of understand more so like some of the health issues that African Americans normally have. Or like if you had a teacher that grew up in Chad Brown, like it would be easier to relate to that teacher or Providence in general, because it's like, all right, we're from the same city, you understand some of the stuff that I was going through. So that's why I love that statement. Like, education is important. Just look at it as like college is a business. Like it's a business tool. Like you gotta get out of it what you put in. Like you gotta, it's checks and balances. Like, is this degree gonna make me, is it worth spending this amount of money? Am I gonna make it back and more? So you kind of gotta think like that. But I think we need to start instilling the importance of education so we can start getting the proper, like, care and the proper resources that we have available to us from our people.
No, I definitely agree with that. But the one thing I took away when you said like a lot of our community doesn't connect to jobs like that, and I think it's because we don't have positive experiences with it. Like, you know what I mean? Like you don't see a lot of African Americans that aspire to be a police officer. There are some, I'm not going to say all, but 9 times out of 10, it's usually a negative connotation when it comes to police, or even when it comes to Black kids in school. Like they have negative experiences, so that's how they see it because that was their experience. But I do agree. I feel like we do need to be more connected to the community and to the community that we serve. So definitely.
One thing that I kind of wanted to touch on is like I feel like you guys all made really good points. But one thing that I'm just trying to, that I'm wondering if like I'm just reading it wrong or maybe I'm not seeing it, is like it just seems like it's just like a repetitive circle in the sense that even before we get to the school to prison pipeline in urban America, the one thing that I want to say is like, all right, so you have all these teachers that teach in Providence. There's hundreds and hundreds of teachers in Providence. That when that tax base leaves, and I've even seen people who like work in the schools that don't want to send their kids to the schools that they work in. So what's that like? That doesn't even make sense to me that you could work at a school like a Central, Mount, a Hope, a PCTA, a JSEC, Alvarez, whatever, and you don't even feel comfortable enough to send your own kid. Like, what's that like what's that say about you and the job that you and your coworkers are doing and the kind of environment that has been created in these schools where there's such second and third class schools that you don't feel comfortable sending your own kid to the school that you work at?
Yeah, that's definitely a big issue, and that just, you could do it individually as well, but you could do it collectively as well. Like, what's the culture of that specific school?
Mm-hmm.
And then when you notice that the culture's terrible, you maybe don't have the cachet or the power to make significant change. You end up, unfortunately, some people fall just in line. Like, hey, they're half-assing it, I'm half-assing it, and it affects everybody, the culture and the student. And that's what ends up happening is like, I'm thinking about the school I work for. I can't agree to that. Like, Day-Day's going there, and there's a reason why Day-Day's going there to ACS with me. So I could say that, but I understand the premise that you're saying. There is a lot of thought factor into that, and it comes with pride. Do you have pride in what you do? Do you have pride in reputation? And do you have pride in that school? And majority does not, unless you're at PCD.
But I feel a lot of times too, man, I feel like like the representation of or like the depiction of what the schools are not are like false narratives. Like there's a lot of stats, but there's a lot of good that goes on in these schools. There's a lot of good teachers. There's a lot of connected teachers. There's a lot of connected administration. So I feel like sometimes the numbers are the numbers, but at the same time, kids are getting quality education experiences. Some people are not, but that's on an individual basis. I don't think it's fair. But like you said, I think at times too, you just always want to give your child better. And if you feel like where you're at is like the baseline, you're always going to want to give better or want to do more. So I think it's fair, but unfair at the same time.
Hey, BP, that was a real great point. I didn't think about it like that, and that's facts. That's definitely facts.
Like, you work at ACS, but say, I don't know what is a prep school, or say a Wheeler or a Moses Brown, you know what I mean?
Right,
they come say, we want DJ to play this sport, or you're going to find a way to make that happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, that's a great point. I agree with that point. My fault, Shiz.
No, I mean, that's a really good point, and that's kind of ties into like, our whole conversation of like, defunding the police and putting certain money back into the community, because a lot of the issues, like, with some of the public schools, just a narrative around it that like, I know I'll speak for me, for instance, like I lived in Mount Vernon during like Mount Vernon, New York during my high school years, and my sister went to Mount Vernon High School for 2 years, and it was always like Mount Vernon High School's the narrative around it. If you went to Mount Vernon High School, your life was in danger by going there. For people that didn't go there, you would think that somebody was just walk up and just stab you. That's what you would think was happening there. And realistically, fast forward years later, like how dumb were we to even believe that something like that would even be able to happen in the school? Like sure there were fights, sure there were things like that, but I just think that if we took certain money was dispersed evenly and we could put in certain, like, even my high school, I went to Mount St. Michael Academy in the Bronx. Like we didn't have, our textbooks were ripped. Some of us had to share. Like it just wasn't like, equipped to like the best opportunities to be able to learn. And I think if you make learning like, safe and like you make it welcoming and you make it like, you show the kids that there's an interest and we're not giving you an old textbook, there's more incentive to tap into certain things, and that can kind of push away some of them. Not like a teacher's not going to, like, I'm sure at your charter school, it's news team, right?
Right, yep.
You have all new material, all new facilities. Like you're more likely to want to teach there than at a facility where like things are run down, there's holes.
Right.
It's not the cleanest. So I think if we can like reform some of our schools in the city, it'll like, be a selling point to get the teachers in there instead of teachers that are just there for the check and just can't wait till the bell rings at 3:00 to go home. So, yeah.
And it's the old saying, like, you look good, you feel good, you perform good in the game. So it's the same thing with the schools. If the schools start to look good, students start to feel good, faculty and staff taking pride in their schools. You even got janitors working even hard in the bathroom to make sure it's well kept, and it's going to perform in the scores and all the testing that you guys value on what a good school is and what's not a good school. You know what I mean? And I think that's what Providence has fallen into. So that's why I kind of agree with BP. No, there's some good in a lot of these schools. And then with Sean, that, the narrative, it is what it is, and it's hard to shake. But then again, we just can't be naive to some of these places are in some deep, trouble. You know what I mean? So it goes both ways. That's a good point, Josh.
So, all right, cool. So I wanna move us to our next thing, and I think that was a really productive conversation. You know what I'm saying? It went a couple different places. I think that was really good. So we all watch these news shows, and they have, if you're watching MSNBC, they'll have a liberal versus conservative. Fox News, they'll have two conservatives versus a guy that's kind of liberal, and so on and so forth. And when they're talking about like these Black Lives Matters issues, policing issues, it seems that a lot of people, the first thing they like to do is like bring up Chicago, or they'll bring up how New York City has been really violent this summer. And the thing that's been like the most disheartening to me is that a lot of Black people, and it's not just like the Terry Crews or Candace Owens or Jason Whitlock, there are a lot of people that like fall into the trap of saying like, well, what about Chicago? What about New York? What about LA? What about this place and that place? And, you know, I've been seeing that a lot. Every time there's a Black Lives Matter movement, there's a what about Chicago movement on the conservative side. So I just want to kind of get your guys' thought on that. I don't know who wants to grab the alley and dunk it first.
I'll jump in.
Yeah, go ahead, BP.
Okay.
I feel like, we talked about this before, and it seems like anytime it's crime in an urban area, it's Black on Black crime. You know what I mean? So crime is crime. Criminals are criminals. And I feel like at this point, people are out there doing what they're doing, but at the same time, where is our policing system in this? I believe last year, Chicago had, I want to say like 390 murders, or maybe even more than that. And like, that's like a murder a day. That's on average. So you can't tell me that with that much violence going on in the city that it can't be policed better, more efficiently. Like, there has to be something going on the police end. Like, there has to be some accountability on that end. And then when it comes to, again, crime is crime, man. I don't know. I just feel like anytime it has to do with the empowerment of Black people, they have to find something to take the footing from under us and bring up but this. But it's like, this is happening because of injustice. We've been trained and programmed and oppressed for so many years that we are killing each other, but for reasons that we believe is life and death. You know what I mean? And I don't know. It's just a tough situation. And I really hate when people of color bring up things like that. Like, that really bothers me, because I know before you had money, at some point you lived in these conditions, or at some point you've seen these conditions, you know somebody in these conditions, you have family in these conditions. Like, you can't be that delusional or that disconnected from reality.
And I think that people don't really understand when you say Black Lives Matter, what that really means, or at least what that means for me, is like every time like a Black person fights a Black person, or a Black person happens to kill a Black person, they look like Black Lives Matter, but you guys are killing each other. Like, every race kills. I'm sure there's a white guy right now as we speak that's murdering another white guy. Same for every other race. But the thing is that what we're trying to fight for is equality. Like, we just want a fair chance. We're not saying that obviously if that Black man goes and kills that Black man or woman, he's gonna go to jail. You know, there's certain situations,
rightfully so.
White people, rightfully so, right? But there's certain situations where we've seen the police murder people and they're not going to jail, murder Black people. So that's kind of where that derives from, and it's just like a media shift, and it's like a contradiction. So they're also, at the beginning of all the protests this summer, one stat that they were throwing out there was just like, but there's more white people that get arrested than Blacks. But when it comes to contradict that, you say, oh, it's Black people are killing Black people, so how can you have all these protests and everything like that? So it's just, and I just hate that sometimes, like, you know, minorities fall into that trap just to kind of get away from the message. It's saddening, but like, you know, hopefully, like, you know, people learn. So.
And you know what's crazy, what's sad and then sick about it at the same time? These individuals, like the Terry Crewses, the Jason Whistler, the Candace Owens, they honestly, in their heart of hearts, believe they're doing the right thing. Like, that's what's the crazy thing about it. They feel that their way of thinking is the right way of thought. Like Bobby and Sean, you guys hit all the stats in the head and the logics of it. I just wanted to put it in perspective of like these individuals, African American, knowing what they even experience, even Candace Owen winning a lawsuit from experience and discrimination as an African American woman, clearly understands but feels Chicago is proof why maybe this other way is the right way. And that's what's really sick, sad about it, that they really think they're doing it you know, to save us or whatever the case may be, not understanding they're adding fuel to the fire. And it's unfortunate. Some of it for clickbait, some of it is for money purposes, alliances. We you know, a lot of under the table stuff that we don't know. But Chicago, I understand there are murders. These ain't like lies, but that is the other side's quick go-to and fix to, you know, denounce and put down everything that we're trying to accomplish, the good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
and it's unfortunately, it seems like Chicago represents all of African Americans.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how they try to label us, and that's what, you know, I can't stand at all.
And Dot, I just want to touch on the stat that you brought up, like the fact that more white people get arrested than black people. In America, there's just more white people in general.
Exactly.
So like that stat's even slanted. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't even make sense.
And always saying for our little people, 80% of it is happening all this nonsense.
Exactly.
For your 100%, because you're 10 times more than our population, your little 18%, it actually is still more than our percent. It's just like simple math. But
Yeah. And
when someone's stuck in their ways, they're in their ways. You know what I mean?
A lot of like, I feel like a lot of white people that say they don't see race, and they'll bring up a point that goes on. So I'll give you an example. A kid I went to a high school with, he made a Facebook post like the Wonder Years. You guys remember that show, The Wonder Years?
Yeah.
They're gonna reboot, and they're gonna put a black family. So a white kid commented on it and was just like, LMAO. So he's like, why is that funny? And he's like, imagine if they did a reboot of Family Matters and all these other like historically black shows, and a Parenthood, and I forget the other show he said. And he's like, and then he said to the kid that I went to, what kind of made me say, I got to respond to this. He's like, hold my coffee while I educate you. So I was like, what? So I wrote on it, and I'm just like, why is that so outlandish? Like, family during that time, shows like Family Matters, Sister Parenthood, those are one of the few black shows that kind of emulated that we can be a white family, in a sense that, like, you know, it's a 2-parent household, every middle class. So we've seen plenty of shows that look like Family Matters that happens to be white. So what will be the difference if you just put a black family as, like, you know, the reboot of the Wonder Years? But that's just how. And then, like, I saw the basketball coach, clown dude, wrote the other day. He wrote that he was mad about, like, the NBA going up. I forget what happened, what player he talked, but he just said that so he can list 5 white players. What if they did that? So why do you always have to compare? Like, oh, it's okay for black people to do it, but if white people do it, it'll be an uproar. Like, they just don't get it. So
most annoying, like, rebuttal that they say. Wait, you guys say the N-word to each other. Why can't we say it?
Yeah.
Like, that's the one that just wants to make me slap you upside your head. And but I be in the situations where I can't catch a case, I can't catch a body, I'm not gonna do it at work. Like, it's just like, that is my pet peeve rebuttal. When I hear that, I cringe and want to go crazy for real.
But I don't know. So, like, I know Sean be on Twitter with me, and I've been saying for the past, like, month, like, it's like this topic's been eating me up. The whole Chicago thing's been eating me up because, one, when white people say it, I know they do not care about black people in major cities that are in crime-ridden neighborhoods. And the thing that's crazy is, like, they'll act like everybody that's in a rough neighborhood is like actively being violent, when being violent are like more like the outlier than just the normal people who are going to work, living their life, going to school, whatever. So that's one part that really pisses me off. And the thing about, like, Candace Owens is that she's so smart and polished and put together that she can make what seems like a cogent argument for why black people are, like, doing so bad and blah, 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 blah. But it's so simple. It's like, if you look at all these other towns that even in our state, like Barrington, East Greenwich, East Providence, all these places that have, like, no crime and no murders and no serious, criminal activity, it's because people have resources, people have jobs, people have money. They're not having to worry about taking, the little bit that the next person has just to make it. You know what I'm saying? And then they're growing up in these tough, adverse circumstances, and that's what breeds the violence. And people never talk about the causation of why there's 500 murders in Chicago, why there's been a wave of shootings in New York. People never talk about the root cause of all this, and the root cause is the lack of resources, the lack of money.
They don't care. They don't care about the cause. You know, the root of it.
But that's what pisses me off. And to see Candace Owens or to see Terry Crews tweet that shit out and get like 100,000 retweets and get all these people agreeing, and you gotta watch who's agreeing with you. If 99% of the people agreeing with me are white and 99% of the people disagreeing with me are black, I have to think about what I'm saying as a black man. You know what I'm saying? That's just been pissing me off to no end.
But again, that's why I feel like going back to like the OJ thing, like once you get to a certain level or class, like you don't carry that color barrier anymore, and it's whack, because to turn your back on the issues that plague your community or the people that you so-called identify as, but once you get to a certain level, people I don't know, man, they don't see color anymore, I guess.
Yeah, like for example, like the people that's saying it too, like for an example, Lil Wayne, he's literally been rich since he was 12, 13 years old. So imagine having 25 plus years of living a certain lifestyle, treated properly, because the prime stuff that we experience when we finally grasp what racism and prejudice is during our teenage years, is during our college years, if that makes sense. Someone like Lil Wayne didn't experience that, you know what I mean? He experienced fortune and being in these situations. So when he talks about that one cop or make these statements like black people need to look at what they're doing and what they're saying, he's really dead serious there, because he didn't live, you know, I know early years, but past his experience to really understand how it can affect you in the workplace or in school or in sports or in relationships or whatever the case like that, because these guys been millionaires, been these guys in that stance, you know what I'm saying? Same thing with OJ, you know what I mean? He thought that way. Mm-hmm. He's been a superstar kid, greatness for running back since he was, you know, middle school, you know what I mean? It just seemed different type of environment that will never vibe with the struggle of what's really going on. And sometimes they just speak out of pocket, not understanding, you know what I mean?
No, that's facts, man. And I think BP, man, even give BP some credit, even though he's not always vocal. He was the first one that kind of hit me. As you guys know, me and BP went to the same school together. And we in college, it's predominantly white. It's like
96% Caucasian.
Yeah. So it's very easy to get sucked into that bubble and to forget what's really happening where you're from, and like, you know, I don't even know how to explain it. But Bobby always did a very good job of like, because he lived in Providence, so he was always like home and he was back, and he always did a good job. But like, even though he did it in a humorous way, he always like kind of hipped us like, something going on, this ain't right, like, you know, like this is not how life's supposed to be. And so he just kind of
kept real life.
Without him knowing, he kind of kept us grounded. Like sometimes, like, what are we doing right now? Like, let's really analyze this. So, you know, he was always pretty vocal about that.
That's hilarious.
So, all right, man. You know what I'm saying? Really great conversation flowing. So I'm going to move us to our next topic, a little bit lighter topic. And we're going to talk about why Jada Pinkett-Smith. I say that name with disgust and disdain. And I don't care how it sounds, how it looks. Just you know, so her and Will Smith had a Red Table Talk interview that lasted like 15 minutes when usually they talk for like 6 hours on there. Yo, when Uncle Snoop was on there for calling Gail a dog face, you know what? He was on there for like, he was on there for like 2 days. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, So they talked about the fact that August Alsina did an interview with Angela Yee where he stated that he was in a relationship with Jada Pinkett-Smith and that Will Smith was cool with it. And Jada tweeted, "We need to come to the red table for a healing." And she dragged Will by his collar down to the red table and they had a healing. So I don't know who wants to take it first. I'm opening the floor up to you gentlemen. I use gentlemen as, lightly.
I'm gonna keep it short. I was just uncomfortable for Will. Like, I feel like certain things like shouldn't be addressed. Like, I understand you're a celebrity, you have a certain status, things are out in the open, but I feel like if you were already comfortable with your relationship and the state of your relationship and where it was at that time and where it is now, I feel like it shouldn't have been so explicitly detailed, I guess. And I feel like she made Will look really bad because you could just tell he was uncomfortable, man. Like, and that's really what it came down to. It didn't seem like it was something that both parties wanted to engage in. And again, I don't know. Like I said, their relationship is their relationship, but I think to air out your dirty laundry and to make one person and one of the people in that relationship uncomfortable is just, I thought it was whack. I don't know.
I just don't get it, man. I don't understand why Will is behaving this way. Why is he acting this way? Like, it's just so crazy to me. Like, man, that man, I felt so bad, man. He wanted to cry. Like, and the thing about Jada, bro, like, she, like, always blames him. Like, you're not doing enough. I wasn't happy. Like, yo, the daughter wrote a letter saying, "Tupac, please come back to make my mom happy." And Will still sits there through all of that. Like, I just want to just shake him and like, bro, come on, stop. What are you doing? But it's just, and then the women that talk, if Will would have got caught in this situation with an R&B,
there's no way there was an interview.
He would not have been handled this lightly. He would have been every tabloid. Oh, how could he? Will's unfaithful. He's a dog. And for those who don't know, their relationship has been pretty much like they've had like an open marriage. But I don't think whatever terms went on with this August stuff, he was not aware of. He did not know. You could tell by his facial expression something was wrong. And it's just like, and when he said that, I'm going to get you back, like, you could tell, like, his jokes, like, you could just see it. Like, it wasn't.
He felt that shit.
So heated about the situation. Like, he has the whole.
This is too funny.
His peers making jokes, like, people in the music industry, the actors, like, it's just a bad look for Will right now, man. And it's just like, I don't know, man. I've heard so many different things that are just getting me upset. Like, if this was a man, you would have went crazy. Like, one girl like tried to tell me the definition of entanglement and why Jada was right. Oh my, I don't know, man. Well, I'm praying for you, buddy.
Yeah, he really was. I don't know the terms of the negotiation, but to me, I view him as a victim twice. Like, you got screwed over. You know, my estranged wife side piece got emotional and blurted out. My side pieces were loyal. They followed the NDA, you know what I mean? And you're embarrassing me once, and then you took me to the red table to embarrass me again. And I just don't know why he agreed to that, you know what I mean? And these memes and these jokes, they gotta get off. It's like there's nothing, he has to take these, you know, these lashings on his back. No slave pun intended, but, you know, it is what it is. It's just like, and it's unfortunate, and I agree with you. If this was Will Smith, he will lose endorsements. Yep. People will say everything about his movies moving forward. They're gonna blame the weirdness of both of my kids and, you know, on me and me not being like, it would just be so much. But we're in this new day and age where city girls, Meg Thee Stallion and Summer Walker got these women feeling themselves. It's savage mode. It's hot girl summer. So this is I'm being honest. You got to keep it real. This is the trend that's going on right now. So, you know, people are looking at Jada like, not for nothing as men, from the outside, we look at Future like that dude. You know what I mean? Like, how do you have all this? You guys seen the meme where she's looking in the mirror, looking like Future, because the women got their future. You know what I mean? And that's how they rock it. So it's kind of entertaining. But once again, I just want to go back. Let's not lose focus, though. This is all fun and games. Let's not lose focus at the task at hand. You know what I mean? But still, it's hilarious. You got to admit, it's funny, Jiggy.
All right, so I had to, like, when I was talking to people about it, I had to make it like a real, like, all right, y'all brought up the fact that if Will was seen to have been cheating on Jada, who people like really talk about their relationship like it's like the golden standard for relationships. Let's say he messed with Tinashe, who to me is the female facsimile of Alcina. She got one hit, attractive, just like whatever. So, and then not to mention that, let's say Will slept with Tinashe, was having a crazy affair, in love with her on red carpets, holding her by the waist, and she was Willow's friend. Because August Alsina got introduced to Jada Pinkett-Smith by their son.
Yep.
Minor at the time. Yeah. So, and like August Alsina was going through like severe mental depression. He had like a bunch of surgeries. So he was really going through it. And Jada, I almost said Jada Kiss. And Jada took advantage of this young man at a time when he was very vulnerable. If we just keep it a stat.
So you calling her a predator?
No, not for nothing. If a guy did that, what they was
Yeah.
Keeping it real funky.
Yeah. I am calling her a predator because it'd be one thing if like they were closer in age and the guy was going through stuff. You have a lot more life experience to lean on. You've been dealing with things a lot longer. You're talking about a kid that was like 21, 22, 23 when all this was happening. So to me, that's a big difference. Another point, I think that Will and Jada have an open relationship. Just some things I've seen in the past. I know we talked in the group chat. I think what happened was they have open relationship, but they don't really get into other real relationships with people that they sleep with on the side. Yeah, like I'm gonna just knock this chick down, weekend in Miami, mess around here and there, but ain't no hanging out. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no chilling, gifts, I love you relationship.
But this guy August was in their house, sleeping over, family event, red carpet. Different. Like Jada went hammer. And I keep wanting to, if a man did this, this will be like, it won't be all these funny memes. They'll be trying to crucify him. You see what they did to Tiger Woods?
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart, you know, he deserved it, but it was a different type of vibe. Carmelo Anthony, you know, keeping it a stack. Like, so it goes, what do you say? Kobe, yeah, when it happened with him. So it's a big thing when a male is deemed to be showing or displaying a family atmosphere and gets caught cheating. This is the same. J. Cole even said it. I want that. What do you say? I want that. Yeah. So.
I have a question. Let me ask you guys a question. Why can women, it seems, never just take responsibility for cheating?
Because they're gonna always say, if a woman get caught doing something, she's gonna always say, but what about the 11 times you did it? And there's always a reason why. Like, I don't know if y'all watch this Red Table stuff, but if you watch this, she's always talking about how she wasn't happy, how Will wasn't doing enough. Like, they're always gonna like mind fuck you. Like they're gonna flip it and like reverse it,
make you feel as if what they're saying is Bible is the truth.
Exactly.
One other thing that I always found interesting was, I think sometimes we forget how big of a star Will Smith is. Like, Mr. July 4th, hundreds of millions of dollars. He's one of the biggest sitcoms ever. Won a Grammy as a rapper a couple different times. Like, he had like banging albums in 2 different eras. You know what I'm saying? And not to say Jada isn't a star, because she's a star in her own right, but she's more like a candle compared to Will's stardom. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying to myself, like, the infatuation with Tupac is like, it's not weird to me because I understand it. Like, Jada would have much rather been with Will. You know what I'm saying? Will was just the guy that, all right, I guess I'm going to marry this dude. It's the right thing to do. So have you guys ever been in a position where you feel like you're a girl's number 2 choice?
I never personally felt like that. That's the situation. Like, it's no matter what he does, it's never gonna be enough because she's always has in the back of her mind that's who she wanted to be with Tupac. Like, that was her spirit animal, and Will's who she settled for. No matter, so you that goes to tell you, no matter how much success you have, no matter how much money you have, if that person don't really love you, then that's it. There's always gonna be some issue. You're always gonna find a flaw.
Nah, that's scary because if Will could be a number 2, that means we all could be a number 2.
Well, honestly speaking,
3 or 4,
like,
I don't know.
right, yeah, honestly speaking, everyone's been in situations when you put yourself in that situation where it's acceptable. So it's not always a bad thing or whatever the case may be where you're feeling bad about the situation. But even situations where you're single, the female single, and she has options, you know what I'm saying, to make those type of choices. And if you come on the short end of stick of that, then yeah, it hurts a little bit, but there's nothing that you can do because Will is at a point where he allowed his wife of 25 years to put him on trial twice and make him feel so inferior. But then I'm thinking, what is Will's motivation? Is it the kids? Is it the movie deals? Is it happened 4 years ago and he must have done crazy stuff behind the scene? But like I said before, his side chicks never came out of pocket like this. You know what I mean? Is that what's happening? Because we heard all this swinger rumors for years. You know what I mean? But putting that stamp on it is just different beast.
I think it's he knows, like for instance, if you got a chick, right? If you're messing with a girl and you feel like that girl, once you guys are done, or if you were to break up with her, she's not gonna care about you no more. She's gonna be able to move on easily. It's gonna be so hard to let that girl go because you're gonna be like, damn, she's not even gonna miss me. So dude is just, I think Will Smith has made himself so inferior that he almost blames himself, and if anything goes wrong, he's willing to subject himself to anything just so, like, if he can't have her fully, he can have her somewhat. In a sense, like, all right, even we'll still be together. Like, she'll never get a relationship with anyone else. She'll always.
But Sean, that makes me think that he cheated first.
Yeah, he definitely did. I'm not gonna say, but like, my thing is, if they were swinging for so many years, the way that the way that August thing broke him, like, it was something about it. Like, he felt like that could have pulled her away. You know. Why get mad at everything she did? Why get mad at that?
I think that it was a relationship.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Will probably slept with a bunch of women and guys, you know what I'm saying? Jada probably slept with a bunch of women and guys.
Yeah.
Listen, bro,
Why you doing real dirty like that? Where that come from? Guys, like,
the man say he not gay.
Okay.
Yo,
all right.
Jiggy is awesome.
I'm operating that they're bisexual, which is cool. But what I'm saying is, like, I just think that what happened is they never really allowed another person to, like, be like a true mistress or side dude, where it's like really like a relationship. Like, I really love this person.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, like, you let this little dude almost come in between this empire?
And they're like, them two as a couple, they're real emotional. So I feel like once Will saw Jada getting like emotionally involved with it, like, that broke him, bro. Like, you could just tell by his face. But like, the most uncomfortable part of that interview was when they dapped each other up.
Bad marriage.
They said bad marriage for life.
Yeah, that's alarming.
That is sick. Do you think Will's just trying to keep that bread? Like, is there a prenup? Like, what? There's no way you could. You said
I
what?
couldn't fathom what, and that's a great point. I couldn't fathom what the reason is if he doesn't have a prenup and how much money he could potentially lose, or
Yeah,
she
but like,
probably, listen, she probably got some things on Will as well. Like, you better act right, or
Man,
I'll talk about these butt plugs from Craig. You know what I mean?
we
Like,
gotta
so
save our guy Will, man. Somebody got in Hollywood gotta save Will. This ain't he can't go out
this
like
ain't
this.
right.
I
This
think
ain't
right.
right.
I think that they're probably just like best friends. So like he's probably like, damn, like I don't want to lose my friendship. Because when you Will Smith and you didn't probably had like there was rumors that he had Eva Mendes, the white chick that was in that other movie with him, like just mad brothers. Like he slept with all the girls that was on the Will Smith show. So he done had all these women throughout that time, but Jada probably just is his best friend. So he's like, damn, like I still want to travel with you. I still want to hang out with you. I still want to share a life with you, but I don't want to lose that. But damn, like don't embarrass me in this way, please.
She did it.
Yeah, but Jiggy, my thing is, I hear that concept, but you need to have the funding to pull something like that off. You know what I mean? Like, no hood dude is going to a girl being like, yo, listen, I want to get my rocks off somewhere else, but I love our companionship. I love when we Netflix and chill and be able to pull that off. That is some rich shit right there.
Yeah, I mean, Will is rich, very
Yeah,
rich.
yeah. Well, you made it come like it's easy to do. Like, I'm just letting
No,
you know, like,
nah,
whoever's watching this, just know that you need a couple of, your bank account needs to look different in order to even entertain this idea with your partner.
or like maybe after you bet, like we don't like we're still relatively young. Like we haven't been with someone for 20, 30 years. We don't know where it's like, all right, cool. Like we have like say you're not well off, say you're just living middle class. All right, we got this nice house, 2.5 kids, a dog, 2 whips, decent job, white picket fence. I'm not really attracted to you like that no more. We're like in our mid-40s. We were college sweethearts. So now we just move into a different phase. Like, all right, let's open it up a little bit. That could be where a situation like that happens.
Not for nothing, a lot of couples are living that way. This is like, that's the crazy thing about it. They want to keep an image or happiness, or they're just accustomed to this way of life for 25, 30 years, but they're not even sleeping in the same room with each other. You know what I mean?
It happens.
So that happens.
All right, so that was a nice, robust conversation. Now we getting into it. So there's been big debates online, social media, YouTube. T.I. versus 50 Cent versus, first of all, will it happen? Should it happen? And if it did happen, who wins? I'm gonna start with Bobby.
So I've been saying this from the jump because a lot of people have been discrediting T.I.'s catalog. And we're talking verses, we're talking about albums, we're talking about features, right? I think T.I. has the catalog to compete. If we're going bar for bar on a lot of tracks, just rapping, like we gotta keep in mind, we're going in the verses shine, it's like a minute, you get like a minute and a half clip maybe, right?
Yep.
If we're going bar for bar, because we know 50 is the hook king. 50 had from pretty much like 2002 to like 2009 locked up with just album after album, hook after hook, feature after feature. I can never deny 50's catalog. But at the same time, I'm saying T.I.'s catalog is with it. And we're just going 20 tracks. I think bar for bar, I'm going with Tip. But with that being said, it depends who the DJ is. It depends on song choice. But I will say, I don't like how 50's acting about this. Like, trying to dismiss Tip or dismiss his catalog. And I don't like that. He's always the bully, but now somebody's calling him out. He's playing shy. Or, like, trying to dismiss it. Or now he's calling out Snoop Dogg. And, like, I don't want to see you against Snoop. Like, Snoop was a whole era before you, a whole 10, 15 years, got his stop before you, bro. Like, I want to see, you know what I mean? Like, let's keep in the era. We're same time. And And this was the last point I wanted to bring up. A lot of 50's stuff, when 50 was hot, was off of that down south sound. And he took that sound and 50 made it his own and obviously killed it. But a lot of 50's catalog got that.
Yo,
that
give it up
down
for
south
Bobby,
sound.
man.
So I'm gonna leave it at that. I know we got a lot of 50 fans in this chat. I'm gonna let you guys go.
I could
Go ahead. What do you gotta say, Sean?
But my thing with Zeem, this is what Kazim Adadarian does.
There's a whole government out there. Wow.
He like, yo, if you could say, like, if you could say Goku and Vegeta's gonna fight, and Goku 10 years ago, if somebody goes online and says, "Oh, Vegeta gonna speaks nicely about Vegeta," Zim is gonna automatically say Vegeta just to say he's different when he knows in his brain that Vegeta got no chance against Goku. Like, it's just two different artists, bro. Like, T.I. is nice. He's nice. I will never say he's trash. I won't say he's whack. But, like, when you're talking tears, like, T.I. was never – he wasn't really that guy. Like, what is he going to play? Like, he's going to play Rubber Band Man and then so live your life. Hey, you can't win the verses with that. Like, the Desi can put the Desi's chop. Tell me a verse.
You're comfortable. You're comfortable going with just a little bit, and
he got way better.
If go a versus
I'll lick the lollipop. Like, come on,
I'm on here rapping.
My fault, Sean. Let Sean go. Let Sean go. Let him have his go.
That's all that Give Richard Die Trying is. Kill him off. So what's T.I. gonna play? What's his hardest track?
Do we have to go through it again?
What's his verse? What's T.I.'s hardest verse?
I can't scroll through.
T.I.
You gotta went through it, bro.
What you know about that? That was I was DJ came out.
That's the hardest song he got.
There's no way, bro.
But Josh, you had to say that.
I gotta open up.
You couldn't tell me that. You had to tell me that.
All right, let's let Zim go. He been holding it in.
Yo, listen. See, the thing about Josh
and Bobby.
The thing about Josh and Sean, which I would never understand, is they have the same brain. In the chat, I say they share a thinking brain. So whoever comes first, and then they just pile on. But just know in the group chat, I stand strong. Like, I'm solid. You know what I mean? But I'm being so honest. All I was saying was 50 Cent, that's my third favorite rapper of all time. You guys know it goes Fab, Jay-Z, 50, then Ross, and then Lil Wayne. But that's beside the point. All I am trying to say is T.I. can go 20 for 20 with 50 Cent. I think people forget when T.I. was at his peak, he was elite with elite features, elite songs. He had 4 number ones that was on the charts for like 7 weeks. And 50 Cent had a good 3 to 5 to solid era of dominance where you could arguably say he was the best rapper. When Get Rich or Die Trying and even The Massacre, 50 Cent was the Drake before Drake. I don't care how you want to view it, whatever the case may be. Then his thought process went otherwhere. While he did that, T.I. was selling 500K per album as well, having number 1 hits. Songs of Rihanna, Justin Timberlake, 2 tracks of Justin Timberlake's that all hit number 1. Then he did hood classics. And we live in the East Coast. They popped off in the clubs out here. All his joints, all his street joints. And like I said, I know you guys hate this, but this is why I just said I was, even in the Joe Budden podcast, they was like, they have T.I. winning. And I said, you know why they have T.I. winning? Because 50 Cent, after Get Rich or Die Trying and The Massacre, just dipped off. And if you guys want to argue that, whatever the case may be, he dipped off. T.I. had a 4 to 6 album, 500K plus with 8 number ones. Like, that is elite status where I just said he's not no slouch, he's no pushover. I'll be rooting for 50, but you guys I just feel like you make Atlanta this small little pocket. You don't show him no respect. And after these last verses and how I see it happening, even though I believe 50 Cent will not do it, I ain't going to say he's ducking, but he has smart, legit reasons why he cannot do it.
So do you guys want to respond before I say anything?
Yeah,
Go ahead, talk.
Curtis sold 700,000
first week. But listen,
I get money.
First week.
That's his third album. That's his third album.
That was his third album. What was his market employ? What's the same day he dropped with?
He lost to Kanye.
Okay. So I'm just
Kanye's T.I.?
Kanye's different, bro. Kanye's
Kanye's a different beast. We're not even bringing him up.
So here's what I'll say, right? So I like T.I. a lot. Especially
No, you don't. I'm not gonna let you lie to the people.
No,
listen. You don't lie to the people. Say what you be saying about T.I. in the chat.
Yo,
that political nonsense.
Did I?
You did it, but I couldn't let fakeness go on the chat. I couldn't let fakeness go on the chat. Sean, be honest, Sean.
No,
be honest.
Nah.
Don't let him get away with that.
No,
I like T.I.
I didn't say anything. Listen, I didn't say anything like, yo, T.I. sucks. He's whack. I'm just saying I'm appalled that people are trying to put T.I. in the same stratosphere as 50 Cent. I'm going to tell you.
How not?
Listen.
I want to hear this.
Listen. 50 Cent's first album, right, sold more than T.I.'s whole catalog times 2. So let's.
What does that?
That means a lot.
Huh?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So also, like, T.I.'s like, well, I was selling 450 and 500. Bro, 50 Cent had the highest debut of any rapper in history. 870,000, his first album. Second album sold 1.1 million in a short week on The Massacre. So there's a narrative that has picked up steam because so much time has gone by that 50 Cent didn't put anything else out after Get Rich or Die Trying that was worth anything. So the G-Unit album, with a lot of hits on it. Get Rich or Die Trying, you can play Get Rich or Die Trying album cuts versus T.I. singles, and he's going to lose some of those. Especially when he starts getting into the singing song, you can do whatever you like. 50 drops What Up Gangsta. It's a different energy. So I think that the reason why a lot of people kind of got caught up with some of these verses is because sometimes they don't think it all the way through. So out to Joe Bum.
You're the only one thinking.
No.
You're the only one that thinks out there.
Because
that's what you're telling me. You're the only one that's thinking it through, right?
Because you hear what you want to hear. Joe Bum podcast, they said they named 7 songs of 50s that he can't possibly lose. Also, they also said they're like, yeah, Candy Shop, you can't really play. Just a little bit, yeah, you can't really play that. But then you start going into T.I.'s catalog and all of his soft songs that haven't aged well. You can have whatever you like and all these other songs. It's like, yo, if the only chance in hell Clifford Harris has to beat 50 Cent is if they're not in the same room. They have to not be in the same room.
Why do so many people disagree with you, hip hop historians and people? Why do you think that?
People.
No. What? Let Josh answer that. Why do people disagree with you?
I think that T.I. is like more well liked. Like, he's like, and we like T.I. was never in the spotlight where it's all right, bro, enough T.I. Like T.I. was never that hot. Like where you talk about, like Bobby talked about 50 Cent dominance, like, yo, that was like complete.
Yeah, like a 7-year run.
But the difference is T.I. had a great run, but 50 Cent dominated. Like dominated. Yo, they were even talking about like how like mixtape tracks wouldn't even go that far.
But Josh.
Not for nothing. Z, you keep saying to Josh that why do people T.I. is overselling himself.
Yeah.
Ebro's show
but I think said he had
classics. Ebro was like, I don't think so.
Much. I think we're talking about the numbers too much. Like, I'm talking about 20 tracks for 20 tracks.
Thank you.
So BP, when you say
Get Rich or Die Trying to went diamond. Yeah, like you guys don't understand. And like I
Yeah,
said,
like,
a great point
Fifty-
that
like,
Joe
when you
brought
do
up that 50
The
Cent
master
ruined.
But fellas, when you do
The
a
50s
versus, what makes you say, "Oh shit," you're more so looking like, "Damn, this song was really a banger," and that's what kind of makes you win the round. So it's like,
and T.I. got a lot of those.
He got a
BP,
lot of
BP
those.
and
A
that
lot of
Jada
his
and that
features,
Jada
bro.
versus BP, he didn't play
Yo.
nothing on the champ. He played all of mainstream Jada. Whether if it was a feature or not, it was mainstream Jada. It wasn't like the champ is here part 3. He didn't play none of it.
But guess what, Doc? Because
They know
Jada's
that.
bars every time out, and that's what I'm saying.
But
If we're talking about bars on a 1 minute clip, like I said, 50 makes great songs, makes great music. He dominated his era. I agree with that. But I'm talking about a 1 minute clip where we're going word for word.
Shoulder lean,
T.I. can compete.
Rubber Band Man. Like,
So
come
what,
on, you gotta
bro,
be
you really
honest.
acting
Bone
crazy.
Crushers.
So
like,
what about How We
Oh,
Do? What about
man.
Pimp? What about he just has way more songs.
See,
that
I'm
when you
on my
listen to it,
phone
you're gonna
right
be
now,
like,
so I can't go through the track list.
Hold
but how
up.
can you say that if you don't even know what T.I.? I can say
Oh,
T.I.
you gotta
could win.
pull
You
it
could
up.
name 2 T.I.
Hands
songs.
up, don't shoot, listen. Hands up, don't shoot, listen, right? So I was in class bored, so I went and made my own list. So I'm gonna just read off joints. I'm gonna just read 20, 50 cent joints. Cause we're bringing up Rubber Band.
Why are you gonna bring up 20 TIs as well or
But
no?
you can't name 20 T.I.s. Ian.
I will.
I could put the list right,
Name me
right
20
now.
Name me 10
I'm the
T.I.
only one that brought up
Oh,
actual
Rubber Band Man, whatever you like.
What you looking at? Keep your eyes straight.
My love.
Keep your eyes. See, he's a cheater. You see how he
Belly
cheated?
Born,
You see this guy? He's so
Soldier. Like, what are you
sick.
talking about?
Yo, why
Like,
you
he's
cheating,
going.
yo?
No,
Bone
let him
Crusher,
go.
shoulder
Nah,
lean.
let him rock. Yo, Z rock. Go ahead, keep on.
No, I'm just letting you know. I
Keep on
want
there,
you
though.
to. You
Keep
You
got
on
don't
if
even
I'm
know
gonna
T.I.
hear
music.
yeah,
Ian.
I want you to
20, 50, send 20 TI.
because he was drunk. Bobby,
You
can
don't even know T.I. music. You just know 2 songs.
But you're misunderstanding the point of what verses is. That's why I say you guys got too much East Coast bias.
no,
You
it's
guys
not.
don't understand that. Yes, it is. And
So
on
why did
top of
have
that,
East Coast bias when
that,
Wayne was against Fab? Why did have East Coast bias then?
what do you mean? Why
Wayne versus
didn't
Fab. Why
you
did
don't
have East Coast bias?
you like Lil Wayne more than you
No,
like
I like
Fabulous?
Fab, but I knew there's
You do,
levels to
but you
this.
like Lil Wayne more. But either
But
way, I'll take that 0-2 on my
we
favorite rapper.
we have East Coast bias, but yet and still, like 50 has 2 diamond albums.
See,
So what are we
again,
judging it off of?
again. Well,
So
listen,
let
stop
me ask
saying
you,
what we're judging off when you know
bars.
it's 1 minute of a verse or a hook that you did in your catalog, and can you compete? And like I said, I've been saying this from the jump. And then when I go get other hip hop historians that you
I'm
guys
not
respect and
Who
listen to,
though? Who's why is Maul a hip hop historian?
Joe Budden, Mal Parks, and Rory.
Why are they?
Anthony.
Rory's younger than
17.
you.
See what I'm saying? Now you're discrediting.
How is he a hip hop historian?
So,
hold up. Listen, I'm just reading the tracks off that I made on my own. I'm gonna name off.
you didn't make it. Go ahead. Read off what you got off Apple Music.
It's right
read off
here.
what you got Apple Music.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No.
The best of 50 from
I
Apple
got my
Music.
list
Go
on
ahead.
Apple Music.
No. First of all, I'm gonna say, if 50 Cent plays the coin drop, he wins. If them quarters drop, that's a dub. Second, what up, gangster? Back down. I'll rip your head, boy. Patiently waiting. How to rob. I'll teach you how to stunt. Wankster. So seductive. Featuring Tony Yayo. Realest Killers featuring Tupac. I Get Money featuring Jay-Z and Diddy. In the Club. How We Do featuring The Game. Pimp featuring Snoop Dogg. Candy Shop featuring Aaliyah. Just a Little Bit. Window Shopper. I Wanna Be a Lover. G-Unit featuring Joe. 21 Questions featuring Nate Dogg. Hated to Love It featuring The Game, and Many Men as the bonus track.
How does
All
he
right, can
beat
I go
that,
now?
Bobby?
Can I go now? What about You Don't Know?
Why you see how he
Can I
cheat? He took
Remix?
his picture
Swagger
away.
Likes Like Us, Motivation, Stand Up, 24's Big Shit Poppin', ASAP, Bring 'Em Out, Top Back, Soldier, My Love, Rubber Band Man, Whatever You Like. It ain't all about the money. What you know, why you wanna, no matter what, we taking over, live your life. That's 20 tracks right there. It'll go
But
toe for toe.
that's better.
Toe for toe.
Toe for toe? Bobby, come on, Bobby. Toe for toe, Bobby.
Don't beg another man.
Don't
beg
I
another
want to
man.
know, because BP, I respect BP's insight.
And he told
If
you.
I'm going off the top, I'm going off the top. If we went both those lists, 50 wins that like 14-6.
Bro, and
but that's again, we're not.
That's a 30 piece.
Listen, but we're not we're not getting into his features. Like these are all his. Like
nah,
Z named features.
Z named his
no Swagger like us.
God.
Oh yeah. What? That's a T.I. song.
Listen, hold up.
Like, come on.
T.I.
Listen. You guys are disrespectful to T.I. T.I. got a good acting career, just like 50. Shows just like 50.
Yeah,
money just like 50. I'm just saying.
But that's why
different tiers.
Exactly. That's why I feel like it's a good matchup. I feel like
I can do. What ATL is on the same ATL will actually. I can feel comfortable saying ATL is bigger than Get Rich or Die Trying movie. I feel comfortable saying that.
It probably is.
Maybe on BET.
No. Any segment, movie, box office, or whatever.
Box office, definitely not.
Or then maybe
I don't know those exact numbers, but I like
longevity. ATL's a classic.
Hands up, don't shoot. Hands up, don't shoot. Listen to this, right? So you rattled off a bunch. So I put 21 songs out there. Then I said, all right, let me get creative and do a bonus. We got Popping Them Things off the Junior mixtape. Let Me In, Young Bucks first.
That's light. Go ahead.
I'm Fire, Lloyd Banks. Can't.
Light.
You gonna say everything light.
Light.
Go ahead.
Light. See, was in the clubs.
Light.
Nothing. Yo, Bobby, of those 20 songs he named, I bet you Zine can only tell you the melodies of 5 of them. Guaranteed.
No, hold up.
Like us,
these are the features.
Because I'm an East Coast guy. 50 Cent's one of my
so tell me how 24s go. Tell me how 24s go.
Hold up, now.
That's how my body goes.
Yo,
that's what I'm saying. Like, we gotta go back. Like,
let me ask you a question.
Like, come on.
Let me ask you a question, right? So you said, which was a nice track. Was you have when they played What Up Gangsta?
Yeah, but Jiggy, I'm telling you, oh my God.
So
you gotta understand.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we're forgetting
what about the people down south? What about South Carolina, North Carolina,
God.
Georgia, Florida? Okay. You guys know they.
So let me ask you a question, Z. One question.
More than we do 50.
So if he went diamond, don't you think the same people that were buying the Diamond album back then are gonna come place their vote? You know what I'm saying?
Bobby's, listen, right? Bobby's naming like young features, which is dope. I like show.
But I'm saying if we're going versus, like these that
what happens when Bone Crusher comes on? Bone Crusher come on, like that was a hit.
Dr. Dre features.
Free King, Slim Thug.
And one thing that I will listen.
Ain't I with Young LA? Like this mad feature, and like this no way, bro. But you don't remember them.
No,
he came with more homework than Z.
I know.
He did the Apple Music special.
Yo, listen, I know the songs. I was DJing when Listen,
you wasn't outside DJing. Stop lying to the people. You wasn't outside DJing. We ain't trying to hear it.
I was outside.
Mad Khaled joints. Like
I was outside. Z, I'm trying to, I really think that like a 2-year age difference is a big difference because you couldn't have been in the all ages night when they played 50 Cent. There's no way. You know, Z was in a hot body contest. That's why he liked so much. Listen, all I'm gonna say is this: that yes, like
they gotta let me be the DJ.
Very good artist. T.I.'s a very good artist, but 50's in the so for you to say that T.I. should feel confident and want to battle and challenge, 50 Cent should feel that same thing. Like, yo, bro, like yo, 50 Cent. The difference between T.I. and 50 Cent is that when 50 Cent during his prime, we'll say 2001 to 2007, if he was on a feature, he was making your record. Like T.I., a lot of them features that you name besides the Young Dro and Young LA, he wasn't making that feature. He wasn't
Brown hair with meth
And
bleed.
Young Dro's his artist.
Like, you just don't remember.
Young Dro's his artist.
I do remember, Bobby. That's the
Why would you say his
Oh,
artist when you say
man.
G Unit? That's all 50's artists that he's making
no.
those songs with.
But
So that's, you see the double
Bank
standard?
rolls on jet.
understanding, bro. When 50 jumped on a track in his prime, it was different. And I also looked at T.I.'s prime. T.I.'s prime making music was 2003 trap music to Paper Trail, September 30th, 2008. That was his, like, prime.
No.
King,
Yeah.
hold on. King came out before
He
Paper
was,
Trail?
yeah.
What'd you say?
King came out before Paper Trail?
Yes, Paper Trail was it. That was the last one.
Nah.
See, Zim
He
don't
had a
even know
lot.
his
He had a
guy.
lot of features. Yo,
He
this
let
is
Rory teach him about T.I. Rory.
Rory was going at 50 Cent. So see what I'm saying? See what the jokes don't fly?
Hip-hop
But
historian.
Jiggy heard it. Jiggy heard it today. He was heated.
Nah,
Hey,
I don't know.
bonus
I still
tracks.
feel like, yeah, I
Yo,
feel
they
like
got T.I.
If you said 14-6 and a 5-on-5, that's a 25 piece.
That's a beat him down. 14, yo, Bobby. If you 14-6, that's
But
a
I said off the list that you presented, I got tracks here, man. Like, it depends who the DJ is. It depends on
Thank you.
who,
So
like,
what I
who's
presented.
picking what. Like, that's a big key. That's why Fab lost so badly, I should say.
well, I think that, I just think that we love Fab so much, his like recent stuff, that we like people just got entangled in the recent. We got entangled because Fab soul tapes are dope, but that's literally the definition of nobody cares outside of like New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island.
That's facts. That's why I try to tell Zim, like, yo, it's disrespectful to like, it's no shot at Fab, but it's disrespectful for somebody to say that Fab should battle Wayne. Like, it's disrespectful for Marcus Smart to say, LeBron, I want to play you one-on-one. It's just certain shit you can't say that. Like, it just doesn't. Like,
You feel like that's
I'm gonna let
little
you,
engine
yeah,
that
I'm
could.
gonna let you guys
Everybody
get
a
your,
little engine that could, but sometimes it's levels. Zim. Fab should have never been in the same conversation.
I'll
with Wayne.
let you guys, get your little rocks and jokes off. It's cool. It's cool. I'm gonna let you get it off, but there's a reason Fab's mixtape series are respected by the hip hop community. This is why he got entangled with Lil Wayne, and people thought to put it together. The same reason why for barbershop talks for years that Jada Kiss top 5 dead or alive.
And that's just
wanted
all
to see
one
that
LP.
battle with.
I'm happy
people wanted to
that
see that
debate
battle with
ended.
Fabulous.
Yo, I ain't gonna front. That was Fab versus Jada Kiss was probably like the least viewed.
Yo, is that the topic? Or
No, but
that's what we're doing? We just did a
Yeah,
touchy.
Hey, yo, look at him.
back to tip.
Seriously, look at him emotional.
I just wanted to know.
Why you got so much anger? Why are you so mad?
I just wanted to know.
I just want to know why you guys feel like this wouldn't be like why this is like a far-fetched thing. Like, so if you're saying this, who would be a good matchup for 50? And I don't want to see him against.
I thought that the Snoop Dogg matchup was.
No.
I thought.
Why would he want to match up with somebody 15 years prior?
So throw him against the game.
Him.
Throw him against the game.
The game is a product of 50 Cent. That was even more dumb. Come on.
I think that maybe, honestly, the best battle for 50 Cent will never happen. The best battle for 50 Cent, it could just never happen.
Because he's so godly. He got all
Ja Rule, to be honest. They're similar artists.
Him versus Ja Rule.
But that's what I was talking about. You see what you did again, Doc? You want to do region versus region. New York,
who they match up with.
Florida, nah.
If I'm trying to match up with somebody, I gotta put somebody that's similar build.
Nah, I can't
put somebody.
Versus go. Nah.
I'm not putting Shaq on AI. Like, it's just not.
Nah, you got T.I.
You
got 50 Cent.
Nah,
nobody ever in life ever said, "Oh, T.I. and 50, these are the top dogs." Nobody never said T.I. was a top dog of anything in rap ever.
Not in the East Coast, but in Atlanta, he's king. South Carolina, North Carolina,
50's king of the world.
Mississippi.
I'm rap. You can be king of the South, but you're king of the
according
world.
To your
so if he's the king of the world, who can he battle then?
If you sell
That's why
diamond,
it would be a perfect battle.
diamond, what does that mean, Z?
4 big albums. Ja Rule would be the perfect one because their music is very similar. Like, they both had, like, crazy hard street records, and then they both made, like, singy-songy girl.
50 became Ja Rule.
Yo, I really think that 50 Cent versus Ja Rule would be just a great matchup for so many reasons. I think that T.I., a good matchup for T.I. I won't disrespect T.I. and say the game.
He might got to get Luda. Luda got Nelly.
Perfect, but that's already passed.
ATL versus ATL region battles. That's what you guys want.
So who you want him to fight? Memphis Bleak? Like, come on.
Like, I mean, who you want? I mean,
50 Cent.
So that's what I'm asking. Like, who's the matchup?
The guy he called
50?
out. The guy he called out.
So if T.I. call out Jay-Z, Jay-Z's supposed to accept T.I. challenge.
He didn't call out Jay-Z. He called out.
But if he did, would you accept? What would you say?
But listen to.
He knew.
Yo,
I think he called him out, and he keep going on this promo run. He know what he's doing.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like T.I. by going so hard is trying to like put himself in the.
I'm kind of embarrassed for 50 Cent ducking and dodging like this.
Nah,
Honestly, this ain't the 50.
Now you're trolling because you just said a few minutes ago that you don't consider him ducking and dodging.
You right. Yo, 50 Cent ain't been scared.
I'm kind of disappointed.
I want to see it.
I want to see it.
T.I. might have to get Young Buck.
Yo,
you gotta get Young Buck.
Young Buck had hits too, yo. Those
he might gotta go Cashville to the key
50 in Black Murder. 50 in Black Murder.
Nah,
Black Murder.
You know the name. You sound stupid.
Black Murder.
Black Tile.
Yo, I think that a really good matchup that wouldn't be regional would be Lil Wayne versus Kanye West.
That'd be tough.
Drake versus Jay-Z wouldn't be regional. Canada versus New York.
But none of those guys called out each other. I want to stick to T.I. and why he called out 50. I just like T.I.'s energy.
Because 50's the biggest troll on IG, and he wanted the back and forth. T.I.'s smart.
He said he was snitch. Yo, the fucked up part is that they can't even get in the same room. That would be cool if like they're both in the same room, but 50's too like he's just too much.
But that was my point, that I know it's not going to happen because 50 has a reputation. He has a persona. He has this demeanor about him. He's not going to be like, oh, wow, yeah, T.I., I remember that. That was my track right there. He's not going to be like, oh, yeah, I did this with Dr. Dre, and Eminem came to the studio and said, this is going to be a banger. Like, he's not that type of...
50 would definitely be like 50 loves telling stories. I don't think
I don't think he's doing it on a forum, yeah.
I don't even do it with T.I., which I mean, hey, I respect it.
Now Zim is just T.I. fan. I never heard
I'm just.
Last week.
I already told the American people you could twist it how you want to twist it. I already told him he is number 3 in my top 5, but I'm not
is number 3.
T.I.
Huh?
Come on, man, T.I. number 3. You know my.
Even them standing next to each other would look crazy.
I think you forget T.I. and what he did in these streets out here. He pressed a couple of people out here. If I did what he had to do, but
like who?
What's the Houston guy? Little Flip.
Little Flip. You forget that 50 went to war with Supreme? That's like the biggest drug lord in New York.
I'm not. Listen. You guys know I know all of 50's bio.
I'm
just letting you know.
Yo, why are we talking about gang shit though? We supposed to be talking about the music. That's what I mean. Like,
that's what Zim do.
If you got the hits, 50, see him. If you got hits, just see him. That's all I'm saying.
I'm with BP on that.
I don't want them in the same room because T.I. is too light to fight. All right, last topic, the NBA bubble. Fellas, it's almost game time. It's almost time. We are 17 days away from the first game, Clippers versus the Lakers. You know I'm going to be strapped in. I know you
locked in.
Strapped in. Listen, I want all the smoke. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I'm happy the NBA is playing. The testing came out today. Out of 322 players in the bubble, 2 tested positive for COVID. So thank God not more guys did. So the NBA is obviously doing a really good job in making sure that they're protecting their players. And the last thing I'll say before I hand it over is that it seems like the NBA and Adam Silver are treating the players like partners, maybe not equal partners, but at least partners. And it's rubbing a lot of people the wrong way, and we know why. And we really know why. So, fellas, what's your thoughts on the NBA bubble or the social media posts that we've been seeing? Talk to me.
It's been cool. I don't know if you, Zeem and Bob, you guys not on Twitter, but Josh, I don't know if you saw this page. It's called NBA Bubble, and I was kind of like looking at it. And so if you guys get to check that out, it's really cool because you see everything. Like you see like what they're eating, what they're doing in their rooms, like what's to do on like the Disney site. So it's cool just to kind of get that personal level to the players. And make it fun. I think J.R. Smith, he went on, he made a comment today about what Jay Williams said, like, just be easy. Like, they obviously know that they're privileged, they make millions of dollars, but it's like, you know, when you go to camp, you're like, damn, I don't want this food. Like, you know, so I just think Jay Williams went a little too hard with that, tried to make it something that it really wasn't. I'm excited for basketball to get back. It sucked QLTM to see Brody get the COVID, but hopefully he's ready to go. I just hope that doesn't happen to any other key players while the NBA is going on. So that would be sad to see, but we back. I'm ready to log into my sports book, put some parlays in, put some bets in. Let's go.
Nah, I'm careful. I'm excited as well. The bubble to me, first of all, let me stop by this. I respected Jay Will to say that though. That took a lot to try to. I don't know if he just tried to have a moment or a movement. You know what I'm saying? But he spoke some real because the NBA players were looking very like unappreciative of everything that Adam Silver is trying to do and where he put his money at, you know what I'm saying, to support them to make sure that they're safe so they can get paid and they don't get screwed in the future. That's why it resonated a lot what John Morant had said in his comments. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I get it, but I get JR too. Like, yo, it's not that deep. But I'm excited by it. I think that this is going to be very, very interesting, just how this whole dynamic works. I want to see how NBA and TNT and ESPN display this, the angles that they use. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see all the players back. I want to see who's in shape. I want to see what the style's like. So let's get it. And as long as the playoff picture is the same, best of 5, best of 7, I have no issue. I'm not going to say asterisk this, asterisk that. Everyone got the same 5 months off. Everyone's staying in the same bubble, maybe different hotels, but I definitely want to see it. You already know, Clippers in 5.
So let me ask you this real quick, Z. What if PG and Kawhi game 2 against the Lakers, WCF, diagnosed positive for COVID, can't play for 14 days?
I really, really was, thinking about this. Actually, I was just talking to Abs and Tomes about this, right? If that gets to a point, Western Conference Finals, one of the superstars tests positive and is asymptomatic, we are never even going to know about it.
Yeah, I can believe that. I can believe that.
There's so much money on the line with the finals and endorsements. If I'm LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Kawhi, Paul George, Jason Tatum, I said no one needs to know, or it comes out. These doctors are getting paid to turn a blind eye, only if they're asymptomatic.
Yeah, I can believe that. Yep.
And I'm telling you, we wouldn't even know about it. The NBA will get praised. Adam Silver will look like the Corona king, and we should have listened to him and follow this and follow that. And this is something that Adam Silver has henchmen. I don't know if that's a proper word, but people in there to let them, we'll throw out these little no-name players, you know what I mean? That violated, whatever the case may be. Brody did that beforehand, before the flight, so he had to. That's kind of different, but we're never even going to know about it. 2 out of 300 and something?
Yeah.
That's why I'm just going to leave it at that, BP. It's a conspiracy, but that's my honest feelings.
Nah, the bubble been cool. The interaction with them showing their rooms off, what they're doing. That's been smooth. I'm ready to just get back to basketball, man. I disagree with the asterisk, though. It definitely has to be an asterisk on this season. No matter who wins it, Lakers in 5. But no matter who wins it, it's definitely going to be an asterisk on this season. A whole 5 months off, the conditions that they're in now, no home court advantage, no crowd. So it's definitely a different time. But like I said, Lakers in 5. Dot, I'm with you too. I'm ready to get back on my sports bets, and let's get back to it.
Yo, Zeem, I'm kind of leaning towards you. I thought what J.R. Smith did was kind of ass ignorant, especially for the fact that you just got back in the league, bro. Like, chill, bro. Like, just, like, damn, bro. Like, why? Like,
He's just a Negro.
I thought like Pat Beverly and Lou Will and them was doing was like mad funny. How the guys was like showing who they're in the hotel with. Like when like Bo Bond and Tobias are like sending love letters, you know, from up and down the balcony, like, you know what I'm saying? But showing the guys fishing and Ben Simmons can't throw the fish back in the ocean, like just so funny. But you know, in these times you kind of got to read the room. You know what I'm saying? You kind of got to read the room. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Bobby, I think that's fair to if you're saying like, yo, no matter what, there's like an asterisk. Cool. Like I don't have a problem with that. Me personally, I'm not starting it off with an asterisk. Man, you know what I'm saying? Somebody's gonna win. Probably be a weird team like the Utah Jazz to win the championship. Just something weird. Just something super weird. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I think that, you know, it's like good to stay focused, but it's also good to have some kind of distraction because I go on the news, I scroll social media, and it's just mad depressing. And I want to be aware of everything that's going on, but if that's the only thing that you're constantly seeing, it's like, damn, man, like, is life even worth living? Like, should I even get up tomorrow? Like, you know what I mean? And with COVID and the Black Lives Matter and the defund the police and so many different things going on, it's just like, damn, like, just can I have hoops for a couple hours just to please distract me from everything that's going on?
Now, keep it a buck, man. Honestly, in these last couple of weeks, I've been kind of moving aside and on Dot and Kyrie Irving's side. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just what you just said right there, too, in the sense of, like, you know, I know we need a stress relief or something to focus something else on, but we know how people get with sports. Their focus and agenda will be just that right then and there, and we'll lose focus. You know what I'm saying? So that, you know, just inherent people's dialogue lately and the excitement and the go-to and whatever the case may be, the NBA has done a good job of making sure the BLM is still in progress, it's still a topic. Shout out to Kyle Korver, shout out to JJ Redick and their contributions. But I just don't want the people that are not minorities to lose sight of what they started to do and engage in, you know, equality for minorities and Black lives, if that makes sense.
So then when should the NBA come back?
No. I'm happy it is back.
But he wasn't wrong in what he was saying.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
He wasn't. Be honest, Josh. Be honest. Just show humility for 10 seconds. He wasn't wrong in what he was saying, but and me included, our own selfish gains. We wanted basketball to come back. We did not. None of us in this chat cared that they were going to lose that $900 million or whatever the NBA was going to lose by not playing. We wanted to see some hoops. But he was not wrong or crazy for the statement that he made. It was a take, like, out there.
I think that he was wrong, but what I will say is that I don't like how, like, the media or, like, the public piling on to me is one thing. Like, that's going to happen regardless. But, like, Perk really kind of, like, turned me off. And I didn't like how Perk was, like, piling on because now people are saying, all right, the players are saying it. Now Kyrie must be really, really wrong and all the players are disagreeing with him when all the players weren't disagreeing with him. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I think it was like what Perk was trying to say was, Kyrie, if this is how you feel, cool. It's unfortunately this happened and this got you in this realm because this hasn't been your MO. But Perk was just upset about the way he went about it. He didn't talk to Chris Paul, who's the president. He didn't talk to the players representative. What's her name? I know it's a female. Michelle Roberts. Yep, Michelle Roberts. So that's what Perk was like. So the things that you're saying, you're not understanding. You're undercutting everything that Michelle and CP3, which I assume got the okay or did some type of survey with players to move forward with this, knowing the bigger picture, potential money lost. And I think that's what Perk was saying. But Kyrie got demonized from the beginning, especially by you, Jiggy, because of his past transgressions. The same thing he did with Dwight Howard.
Just for Perk to say, last week, okay, Kyrie, I see you put it
with the Breonna Taylor
money where your mouth is.
Yep.
Right.
Now, I'm saying, but I still feel that in that moment, like Kyrie was wrong. I'm not saying that everything Kyrie does, I have to disagree with or say he's not doing something right. But in that moment, I felt he was wrong. I still feel that.
Yeah, agree to disagree.
Like, now I'm saying, because I'm like, the only thing that made me upset was that, one, they started leaking stuff from like the group chat. And like, I just don't like when people who are in the same team or same organization start trying to hate on each other. Because I think that's counterproductive. Like, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's what something Perk was kind of alluding to, like how you went about it. It kind of undercut Chris Paul and Michelle Roberts and what they was doing. So I understand that aspect. But my only thing is why I shift was in the beginning I had a lot of selfish on, yo, Kyrie, what you're saying is going to take away from something I did want, the NBA back immediately. So even that pushback was a selfish reason. But then when I sit back and I'm like, what he was trying to say, is why I'm just like, you know what, I get what he's trying to say, but you know, it is what it is.
He didn't go about it the best way.
I think it's just like, you like are what you consistently do. So like for me, when I see that Bron, who I don't really like on the floor, was like silent and like going with the flow, CP3 was doing his thing with the union, them are the guys that I'm looking at like, all right, cool, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not like, listen, I still stick by my sentiments. I'm not saying that like they're evil people, but I do judge you on what you consistently do. And Dwight Howard and Kyrie Irving haven't shown maturity on that level. But like I said, I'm glad that they're getting more, like, for lack of a better term, woke. And Dwight's donating the remainder of his salary to Black Lives Matter charity. Kyrie's doing a documentary on Breonna Taylor, who's kind of faded from the news lately. But I just hope that when we talk about stuff being a distraction and stuff like, we don't need it to be talking about entertainment. We have to find a balance, because to me, I see what you're saying is about white people paying attention to black issues, but I find it insulting that somebody would say like, yo, we can't have sports or entertainment or music because we have to just stay focused on this one thing when we can do both things, I feel.
Let me make this last point.
Yeah.
What I've been seeing a lot of, like, white people been saying, even Colin Cowherd said it, and I think that's what kind of ties into what Avery Bradley, Dwight Howard, and Kyrie was saying. They're telling you that if you're going to make this a political league, a.k.a. you keep bringing light to this Black Lives Matters movement, you're going to lose ratings, and nobody wants to see that. So that kind of proves their point. Like, white people are basically telling you, don't bring that shit here. It's no place.
Yep.
I agree and disagree, because I understand like what they're saying. Like, certain people are like not into politics, and they're like, yo, like keep politics completely out of sports. However, I do think that it's important that, like, I mean, like, the statements on the back of the jerseys, cool, but I also think that it is important that Adam Silver and the people that run the league are pushing back, saying, look, these are our players, these are our partners, and we're going to listen to them and do some things, probably not everything, you know, it's a negotiation, but some things to make them feel like it's the opposite of what you just said. So at least the people who are running it and putting and putting the product out there are showing love for Black Lives Matter. So it's 50-50. It's tough.
Yeah, it is. It's a tough dilemma, tough thought process, but all I know is I just got a better understanding. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm happy the NBA is back. I'll be tuned in. But that's me personally.
I don't want to cut you off, but can I ask you guys a last question, right? So this year there's going to be probably no college sports. There'll probably be NBA. There'll probably be NFL, baseball. I always found it so interesting how we'll watch a football game and like 80% of the people on the field are Black, but most of the audience is white. And now we're like finding that we might be coming to that point where the rubber meets the road, where it's not just an entertainment product. Now there is going to be some politics into it. Will these sports lose ratings? Will the NFL lose ratings? Will the NBA lose ratings? Will baseball lose ratings?
We shall see. That's what Colin said. He said he feels the NBA is becoming like an anti-Trump, and if they feel like they're on the right side of history, if they're on the right side of history, long term, that's going to help them. If it goes left, then all this money and TV deals we're talking about, shit.
Like, I'm gonna quote Michael Jordan: conservatives watch sports too. I don't think there's gonna be a drop, to be honest.
But he said there was. He said that the NBA ratings have since we've brought in the since we started, when we talked about that LeBron or I Can't Breathe stuff,
2016, I believe that was.
They're stating since all that happened, there's been a drop in ratings, like a severe drop in NBA ratings.
And I'm sure that they could find that to be true numbers or accurate numbers, or however how they want to manipulate it. But they don't factor in, we can watch it on YouTube now. We have DVRs that can record it as well. We have social media just for the highlights. We have Sports Center. We have every freaking podcast and everything like that. No one is sitting in front of the TV for 3 hours anymore like in the old days. There's so many variety of things to do. So there's a lot that attributes to that. And at the same time, there's still elite numbers that they're putting up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what they don't want to, explain to you. You know what I mean?
I think that the biggest drop, reason for the drop in the NBA is what Zim explained, like people not staying in front of their TVs. And also, like, the regular season doesn't matter as much. Like,
so long.
Yeah, there's not like the value. Like football, like every game matters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it's 1 day a week. Well, for the most part, like the main event is the 1 day a week.
Yeah, because if you look at baseball, like people barely watch baseball at all.
Right.
People still go to the games. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, Sean. When you dropped that tweet in the chat, it made me think about like how I'm always like, damn, like you watch Alabama, Auburn, Texas, all these schools. There's like a number of white people in there. And it's just, it's like this like delicate balance, you know what I'm saying? That like the players are getting some benefit, but the fans are getting some benefit. Then the pros are obviously getting way more of a benefit, you know? So I'm interested to see what the next 18 months looks like for sports. But
absolutely.
That is the end of the show.
Hey, before we go, man, listen, this guy right here, he's a good man. You know what I mean? Heck of a, previous basketball player. His knees doesn't hold up anymore. Great father. One of the pillars and pioneers of the group chat. He knows when his presence is there. I appreciate him. But I just want to give a huge shout out to Bobby. Last episode, you know what I mean? Clap it up for Bobby. Bobby, clap it up for him. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate that. We can never
Mr.
fill his
Motherfucker
shoes.
Himself.
Yeah, you
appreciate
know,
that, fellas.
That we do it. You know, he's going on to other endeavors. You know what I mean? We wish you much success. You know what I mean? But always welcome back. So I had to give him that shout out before we got out of here.
Want to give a speech?
Definitely. You already know, fellas. Like all love. got mad shit going on, my own personal. Baby girl's coming soon, moving. So I got a lot of things going on. I got to take a little sabbatical, but hope to be back in the next couple weeks. You know, I'm tuning in every week with you guys. Still locked in on the group chat, even though I'll come back to 300 messages. I ain't reading up. But yeah, nah, it's been real, fellas.
Peace.
Good conversation.
Security, come walk this guy out.
And make sure you turn it. Make sure you
Fade the
turn in
black,
your badge.
fade the black, fade the
Make sure
black.
you turn in your badge at the front desk.
Turn your keys in. All right, so.
All right, Joe.